Hello, my name is Josh, and I'm a relationship manager at AAFMAA Wealth Management and Trust. In this video, I want to share with you about Series I bonds. I want to talk with you about what they are, what are some of their unique characteristics, and help you think through some of the questions you should be asking yourself if you're considering I bonds. So what exactly are Series I bonds? Well, these are bonds that are issued directly from the U.S. Treasury Department. They have an assigned interest rate that changes semi-annually, and that interest rate is tied to inflation. Now, sometimes there is a base rate, a fixed rate associated with it, and then the inflation rate changes. Right now, as of October 2022, that fixed rate is 0, and the inflation, or the interest rate that's associated with inflation, is 9.62%. So that's why they've been talked about quite a bit in 2022. The interest rate is much higher than we're used to seeing. Now, what are some of the unique characteristics here? One, when you want to buy a U.S. Treasury Series I bond, you do that directly through the government. You don't do that through an investment firm. You can do that on treasurydirect.gov, or when you get a tax return and you have money that is to be refunded to you, you can also request more Series I bonds as part of your refund. Now, the limitation there when you're getting the refund and the paper I bonds is $5,000 per individual per year. And when you purchase them directly on your own through treasurydirect.gov, that limitation is $10,000 per year per person. So all said, you could have the maximum of $15,000 per year in Series I bond purchases. Another unique characteristic about Series I bonds is the limitation on how long you need to hold them before you can receive the principal and interest back. So upfront, you need to have them held for at least 12 months before you can request to cash out your principal and interest. Then between 12 and 60 months, so after the first year and before the 5th year, if you cash them out in that time frame, you give back 3 months interest. So to make that make sense for you, if you bought them today, 18 months later, you say, I'm cashing out my principal and interest. Instead of getting 18 months worth of interest, you get 15 months worth of interest until you've held it for 5 years. And then you are entitled to the full interest that is due during that period. Now, the last thing I want to discuss is what you should be thinking through if you're considering a Series I bond. So first, I want you to think about if you need these funds in the near term. This is not just like cash in your bank. This is something that will be tied up for the next 12 months. So if you think, you think your emergency fund is not adequately filled at this point, then that's where additional cash should go. After your emergency fund is filled, if you think that you're wanting to see something that is very conservative but has the potential to grow, then this is a great place to do that. And then thirdly, if you're someone who is an investor, you want to put your money to work, but right now the volatility is just too uncomfortable for you and you don't really feel comfortable buying stocks or even buying fixed income funds right now, this is a way to put to work at least some of your cash that you may have sitting on the sidelines right now. $10,000 per person per year that you can get some interest, and especially as long as inflation is high, you should see some interest associated with these Series I bonds. I hope going through some of these unique characteristics of the Series I bonds and helping you think through some of those questions before you make a decision on a Series I bond has been helpful for you. If you have any other questions that came up as you listened to this and you wanted to ask, please feel free to shoot me an email or give me a call, and I'd be happy to chat with you about it.